All right, this is the Truth About College panel. My name is Joe Martinez. I work at the Boeing Company. I'm a lead structural design engineer on the 767 wings. I have a couple of panelists here who are current college students. This is going to be pretty much as, ask away in the Q&A. If you don't have any questions or I don't see any questions, when you registered, I have a list of questions that people could fill in during the registration process of questions they may have for college students, so we can utilize those questions if no one's utilizing the Q&A. So I'm going to go ahead and let the panelists introduce themselves. Bolivar, I'll let you go ahead and go first.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Bolivar Morales. I'm a mechanical engineering student from the University of Houston. Currently a senior, first generation, and my ethnicity and background is I'm a Mexican. I've been in the US 10 years, and I like aerospace. I'll hand it over to Jasmine.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jasmine Fuentes. I'm a senior in biomedical engineering at the University of North Texas, and I'm originally from Houston, and I'm also a first generation student. And I'll hand it over to Dulce.
Hello, my name is Dulce. I'm also a student in the University of Houston. I'm currently an industrial engineering student, a sophomore. I live mostly of my life here. This is where I was born and raised, Houston, but I also lived in Mexico where I did my high school. So I do have a little bit of international student experience.
All right. We have our first question. I'm going to let, let's see. We'll let Jasmine take this one. How stressful is engineering?
Honestly, it's pretty stressful. It's a lot of assignments that you have to complete. Like your homework assignments may seem like it's just 5 questions, but it really is like 15 because it has certain parts. And you also have to have a lot of time management, that you have to know how to manage your time correctly, because there's a lot of homework like that maybe do the same day, or also if you're involved, you also have to like take that into consideration. And also whenever like in midterm season is pretty stressful for me because most of the times I have like 2 exams in a week, or like 1 exam right after the other, like every week. So I have to like really plan ahead. So I would say it's like a 8 out of 10, like really stressful, but during midterms it's like 10 out of 10. It's like stressful.
Does anybody want to add anything? Dulce, Bolivar, feel free to chime in.
Yeah, I guess I could pitch in. Engineering is really stressful, and like Jasmine said, it's all about how you manage your time. I'm a non-traditional student. I work and go to school, work full time and go to school. So you really have to manage your time and like kind of tell what's coming. So like if something's not on my Google Calendar, I'm gonna forget. But that's a tip I will give you guys. Something else I suggest, just take breaks, because burnout is real. Mental health is real. What I do is I study an hour and a half, and then 20 minutes of anime, Pomodoro, and then repeat it until the day's over. That works for me, so that prevents burnout.
Also, same here. I do believe burnout is really real. I've experienced it myself. I also work, but I also only work part-time on the weekends, and then I dedicate full-time on school. However, my psychology, I think, is that I do believe that you do need 1 day a week to at least, get yourself together, do whatever you want, whatever you like, and to pretty much calm and reset for the rest of the week.
All right, let's see. If you had to leave some advice to someone going into aerospace or engineering in general, what would you tell them? I think Bolivar mentioned that he's into aerospace, and I work in the aerospace industry too. So I'll let Bolivar go ahead and see if he wants to talk a little bit about that, and maybe I'll add a little bit since I'm in the industry.
Yeah, I would say be curious and you know, you gotta love it. I love aerospace. Like looking at stars is pretty cool. The Boeing 737, it's pretty cool. 777, you know, the turbines they make, it's pretty cool. But I would say as there's no aerospace in the University of Houston, so the best you could do is mechanical. But you could get involved in organizations like SHPE or AIAA. They do a lot of projects aerospace related. We build rockets, like not like the SpaceX ones, no, not those. But we built drones as well for competitions, and that gives you hands-on experience that could help you. So yeah.
Um, I guess I don't have an aerospace undergrad. My undergrad was civil engineering. So I'm a structural engineer for airplanes. So I make sure that the wings don't fall off, right? Like that's the design purpose of what my job is. So I will add that a lot of different engineering type of backgrounds and even non-engineering type of backgrounds go into making airplanes and rockets and other products in the aerospace industry. So even if you don't think you're going to wind up in an aerospace industry or in some other industry, like your skills can be utilized across all different types of industries. So utilize the resources at your school, your friends, learn about, hey, you had an internship at Boeing. Like, what was that like? Oh, you know, as a civil engineer, I did this, this, and this. Oh, that's really cool. I didn't know civil engineers could do that at Boeing. And then just in general for any engineering, right? Like, you have no idea what you're going to end up doing. You all saw, you know, Jay started up his own thing, trying to you know, spread the love of science and engineering, right? You go into STEM, you go into engineering, you think you're going to get an engineering job, you might end up doing all sorts of different things, but it's a great base. So just be curious, ask questions, get involved, you know, find groups like SHPE to kind of compare, right, what kind of cool things can be done with your degree. So we'll go ahead and mark that one as done. I think who was our industrial engineering major here? It was a question directed towards industrial engineering. Yeah, Dulce, go ahead and answer what the daily life of an industrial engineer is like.
Well, currently I just switched majors. I'm not like too complete sure, but from
Sure.
what kind of made me like, you know, switch into industrial is that you know how like the usual like the stereotype for the engineers is that, oh, we can create this and we can create that whatsoever. For industrial engineers is how you can improve it. So you usually work on plant or any manufacturing processes. And what they do is that they look at the production reports, you know, they look at what's coming in. I believe I'm reading a book with my professors making us read a book so that we can have more of an understanding. And it's pretty much how you can improve the plant, right? So basically it's almost every business, you know, goal is to make money. So basically our duty is to pretty much see what exactly is not working, that they're not making the numbers that they want. So it's kind of a little bit of business into it, but it's also engineering into it.
Yeah, I work with a lot of industrial engineers when I was in product development, developing the next, the future production site of Boeing, right? And so I always thought them as people engineers because they kind of help optimize how we utilize people and the resources. So it's definitely like a quite the bringing together of that business side with the people side with the product, right? Like how do you optimize that whole system? We have another question here. What keeps you motivated? Jasmine, I'll let you take this one first.
For me, one of the things that keeps me motivated is just my family, because I know that they're even because they're in Houston, so we're like 5 hours away, but I know they're like still supporting me and they want to see me succeed. So that's like one of the things that keeps me motivated. And then another thing is also I have like kind of like a set of goals, so I know that like I have the drive to achieve my goals. So also that's another thing that keeps me motivated when I feel like kind of like giving up or like kind of down for like if I got like a bad grade or something. Like I always see like who's supporting me, and also like I'm looking at the end goal, which is like graduating and getting a job and like actually being an engineer. So that's like what keeps me motivated.
Dulce, do you want to add in what keeps you motivated?
I feel like a lot of factors keep me motivated. I usually, when I go to my job, it's like, oh, I do not want to be in this job forever. I need to like be more motivated and do my own major that I really like. That's usually my motivation of every week. Like, okay, I really gotta, step up on my major. I really gotta finish what I want to do. Well, from there, I guess it's just like keeping up, right? Keeping up. I also have scholarships. So basically, they have to keep me motivated in a way because I do have to have certain GPAs in order to have them. So that's also like a motivator to like keep on with my classes. I have to have certain grades. You have to keep up and keep up to in order to meet the deadlines and requirements.
Awesome. Bolivar, anything you want to add to your motivation?
I would say for me, what keeps me motivated, it's like Jasmine said, it's my family. My mom immigrated here in the U.S. when I was in middle school. She's a single mom. She worked hard to get us where we are today. That pushes me and gives me drive, and it's it's like it makes me think like I can't let her down. And also, I would say like I don't know, it would be cool to work on your dream or what you want to do. I'm interested in aerospace, or whether planes or rockets. Seeing those being made by me when I get the degree would be pretty cool. So that motivates me.
Yeah, when I was in college, it was all about the end, right? Like I got to finish what I started, and now as an actual engineer, what keeps me motivated is like what Bolivar said. Like there are things that I have designed that I have submitted patents for, right? Like that's kind of cool. The fact that I've designed something that's never been done in the past, right? That no one's ever thought of. Like I created new data. That keeps me motivated. Like that's the whole point of being an engineer, right? That you've like created something brand new, and it gets implemented and it's going to be doing something, for years to come. So that's what keeps me motivated in my job now, and then just the personal stuff, right? Like this is what I wanted to do, so I'm going to keep doing it. Let's see. What skills are important to have to succeed? Now, I guess I will make this a little bit more specific. What are some skills in order to succeed during college? I'll let the college students answer those questions, and then I'll circle back afterwards. So, Dulce, we'll let you go first.
Some certain skills is time management for sure. Because you will have your own personal things, personal life things, also family. If you do have a job, you also have to manage the work and also school. And then school, well, midterms are here actually right now. So it's a lot of work balancing and school balancing, everything balancing. Because you have to manage your time in order to get those grades, understand the material. For sure, time management, for me, that was a tough one that I had to learn the hard way. Also from there, let's see, skills. Well, I guess mostly like being able to communicate, because you are gonna have to communicate whether you're not understanding something, whether you need help. Never like have fear, in telling anybody like, hey, I'm not understanding this. If it either comes with the material or anywhere in your aspect of life at the moment, always ask for help, always communicate, always, because the help is there. You just gotta communicate sometimes.
So Jasmine, is there anything you want to add there? Skills?
I think Dulce pretty much cover them. Like really have good time management skills, and like if it helps, like being able to, like she said, communicate, and also like that helps you to make study groups like with your peers, like being kind of like not like easy to talk to. I would say that helps you like study, like for some people study groups work, like help them study better. So like that can add on to the communication part.
Anything you want to add, Bolivar?
Yeah, I would just expand on what people said. You have to be able to manage your time correctly, because if you miss something, it's gonna come and bite you later. And I would say just have a good study group. That's very important. Me and my friends were like keep each other accountable. It's like, what happened? You don't understand this, catch up, or we could help each other learn something. That helps a lot. And I would say be self-aware of what you don't know. Like if you don't know something, say, hey man, I don't know. I gotta reach out to someone that knows to teach me, or like, give me the resource to find out myself of what I could do to compensate for that. Because if you don't know, by the time the final comes, there's a lot of catch up you need to do.
Right. Awesome. I guess those skills, time management, and like communication, those are super important as a working professional. The analytical and the engineering background and all that stuff, you can learn that, right? From a textbook, you'll learn the math, you'll learn the science. You can pick someone's brain on asking them, hey, how do you do this function on this one thing on the computer, right? You'll learn those things. But you won't get the answers if you don't know how to ask. And then you might be the smartest, brightest engineer and have all these great ideas, but if you don't know how to communicate those ideas to people who end up opening up the checkbook to spend the money to make that idea happen, and you can't convince them that this is the best idea ever, then it's just never going to happen, right? It's just never going to get approved or get funding for whatever you might have a great idea, but if you can't communicate it, that's something that I learned working, that I had to put my presentation skills, pretty good to improve those presentation skills. Don't be afraid of public speaking. I'm speaking in front of a bunch of directors and things like that, pitching a brand new design. So don't be afraid if that's a position you end up in, right? So you have to be comfortable presenting those technical details and communicating them. Let us see here. Next question. Can you share how your family, parents felt about you choosing engineering or STEM as a career path? Being first generation as well, I have to do a lot of explaining and convincing often. What has your experience been? Bolivar, I'll let you go first this time.
Yeah, I would like to share that being first generation is a challenge. Actually, the SHPE of H went to North Shore High School yesterday to volunteer and help students fill out their FAFSA, which is like crucial. So if you're a senior now, start filling it out, because it's that money. I would say how did they feel when I chose engineering? They knew I wanted to be an engineer. I sometimes tell them I want to be a mechanical engineer. And when you say you're a mechanical engineer in Spanish, it's like ingeniero mecánico. It's like they think I fix cars. Like, no, I don't do that. I want to fix planes. But yeah, that's they tell me they're supportive. We live in a place that's really small, and because of the virtual environment, it's like we don't have a lot of space. So even they make time like to quiet down, bring it down when I have to study. That's how they support me. But yeah, first generation, it's tough, but you're not alone. Reach out. You don't know how many people are first generation and been through it and be like, man, I know what you're talking about. Let me help you. So yeah.
For sure. Jasmine, you want to go ahead or chime in?
So my parents were pretty supportive of engineering. I said like, yeah, like go for it. But what was hard during like the virtual semester that I had was that I had to like explain them that I had homework, or sometimes I had exams and I had to like study quietly because I have little siblings, so they would be pretty loud. So that is one of the things that was kind of hard. And also like I'm also a first gen, so for them sometimes like I tell them how like late I stay up, like sometimes studying and stuff like that, and they like at first they wouldn't believe me, like they would think it was just because I was like wasting my time. But like after a while, like it took a lot of like convincing and just like them seeing that I was actually doing homework and I was taking a lot of time for them to understand. And like last weekend, I went to see my parents and my mom was like, oh, so you actually like you get off until like 8 out of the engineering building. And I was just like, yeah. And she was just surprised. Like it was just like she has like since I'm like the first one to go to college, like they just seem surprised that it takes like a lot of time, not just like how much time I used to spend in high school, that it takes like way much more time, like almost 10 hours. Like a day. So that was one of the like my struggles.
Let's say you want to add anything.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, when I told my parents that I wanted to be an engineer, they were really supportive. Of course, they're like, oh, this aim for being a doctor, engineer, whatsoever. They were really supportive about it. However, what I have like analyzed from my parents, I am also a first generation. However, I had siblings that also went to college, but they didn't do engineering that much. The thing about them is that, yeah, they enjoy the title, right? Oh, you're going for an engineer, but they don't understand what going to be an engineer is about. So sometimes you're going to study, like Jasmine said, you're going to study a long hours. Sometimes you're not going to be able to go to family events like you would like to. And, they're going to probably, throw mess at you like, hey, that's rude for you not to go. But it's like, you also have to balance out, your priority. You have midterms going on, you have homework that you have to turn in. And it's okay. Like sometimes they're not going to be that supportive at those like perspectives. But once you like keep doing it, once you like try to explain it in a way, they will kind of understand. However, there are other times that you try to explain, like when I did my major change, they thought it was just like a sin. And yeah, it was quite the thing to explain. Didn't know how to explain it to them, like, hey, no, it's not gonna like, be so harmful for me. But at the end of the day, you just keep doing you. Try to involve your parents, but not that much in a way. So that's my tip.
Yeah, it was definitely like I had older siblings ahead of me, but they didn't do engineering, right? And like my sister, like one of my sisters was like not a good student, so it's like they had like this perception that like college was bad for you because like there were parties and stuff, right? Like, and so they were just scared that I was like not doing enough to do well, because in high school I never did any homework like at home. Like I just did it at school, and they just never saw me do anything academic. So like in college, they were just like, "Are you doing enough? Are you doing enough?" I'm like, "Yeah, mom, I'm in the building until 3 a.m. doing homework. Like I'm gonna be fine." And then like, even just like explaining like your career and stuff, they just have no idea. Like my dad, like high school level, my mom finished 6th grade, right? Like they just have no perception of what the rest of it means. So it's I try to explain as much as I can. So it's always an interesting discussion when we go home and like, how's work? Well, it's work. I don't need to explain much. But yeah, definitely a difficult thing to be. And that's why SHPE is really good to like find a friends that like connect with you and relate to you about those types of experiences, right? So you can like study with people that are going through similar things. Be like, yeah, my mom just said the same thing, or yeah, my dad's going through the same stuff. So definitely helps. All right. I guess the next 2 questions I'm going to kind of combine a little bit. We haven't really talked about all the different types of engineering, and then the question ahead of that is also like, ooh, what kind of things do you do as a mechanical engineer in aerospace? How about we like kind of combine a little bit of all the engineering types that we can think of, and maybe discuss what kind of careers and things like that they can do. There's a long list, so maybe we can keep it a little bit short, or at least among the majors that we have here, and then maybe any like tangential related majors that you might like, if you're like if you're biomedical, maybe you talk about like bioengineering or anything other slightly related stuff to that. So we will let Jasmine go first, kind of talk a little bit about the type of stuff that biomedical engineers do, right? That's your major?
Yeah, so my major is biomedical engineering, and I like some of the things that I've seen some of our alum do is one of them does the quality testing. So basically he just gets like the new machines, and he just makes sure that they work for what they're supposed to do, and that they're like within the FDA guidelines. So that's like one of the things you can do as a biomedical engineer. Others like have gone to work at hospitals, like just like trying to find better ways to improve the medical machines. Others like you can stay and do research in regards to like drug delivery or like nanotechnology. And so there's like different paths. Like if you also stay in the workplace, you can if you want to get a job after like right after your bachelor's, there's a lot of different like different engineering opportunities, because biomedical engineering, the way our program at my school is, they just teach you a little bit of everything, but they also like they teach you how to apply like mechanical engineering in the like in the body, and also like electrical engineering in the body. Like it's just like how it relates to like the body, or like any machines that go in like any medical machines as well. So that's like there's different paths like to go for biomedical engineering, and that's like what I liked about my major, that you learn a little bit about everything.
Awesome. We kind of already talked a little bit about industrial engineering from Dulce. Anything more you want to add on to industrial engineering, or any other, like, I think you switched majors. What were you majoring before? Why did you switch? What made you make that decision there?
Yeah, I can tell you a lot about chemical engineering, because that was initially my major. I came in since I had a hard time coming from my high school in Mexico to like doing university here. I had to do my community college, which I did my basics. And I came in as a chemical engineer, right? Because I thought, well, I did. I really like chemistry. I took my basics in there. I took all my general chemistries in there. I had a passion for it. I really enjoy chemistry. However, when I switched to U of H to finally do my, my major, what they call the big boy courses, the engineering courses, I kind of realized that chemical engineering is not fully about chemistry. So even though it's on the name, chemical engineering, it's not chemistry. So that's when I had my realization. I went through some classes, and yes, of course, engineering is a lot of math into it, but chemical engineering has quite a lot of math into it, that also a lot of processes and rules that you have to understand. And I just completely like saw that it wasn't for me. At that point, I knew that it wasn't like chemistry that I wanted to do. So then that's when I started following for the other major. However, chemical engineers, all I can tell you, I do have like a lot of respect to them about the classes that they do have to manage. I do feel like it is one of the more complicated engineers, I feel, probably. But they do earn pretty good. There's also a lot of jobs here in Houston. And from there, well, do your research for engineering for sure. That's my advice for you. So always do your research beforehand. Also look at the hours that they do the work, and yeah.
Oliver, you're majoring in mechanical engineering. Talk a little bit about all the different things mechanical engineers can do, and what you hope to do in the aerospace industry with that mechanical engineering degree.
Yes. First, I would like to answer a question that was said in the comments. What is engineering all about? I think as we discussed all here, engineering is about solving problems. There's going to be so many problems out there in the world that we need to solve. And you could think about anything, like how to make a plane be faster, lighter, or how to make a process as an industrial engineer, how to optimize it, have something be quicker, or as a biomedical engineer, maybe making prosthetics, the next robotic arm. That's what engineers do. They solve problems that, make a difference. As a mechanical engineer, what I tell people is that we make the things that move. The study of mechanical engineering is how forces are applied on a body, either in motion or staying still. I've done internships with companies that I got through SHPE. And I was doing a lot of aerospace engineering work, working on wings, materials. It was pretty cool. And, things that move, mechanical engineers could work on them. I don't know if I could share, but I'm gonna talk about electrical engineers because I have a lot of friends.
Sure.
And electrical engineers work on things that have electricity. Everything has electricity. They work on circuits, diagrams, and it's pretty cool, to be honest. Like those Tesla cars, man, they're fast, and they're pretty cool.
So, like I said, my undergrad was civil engineering. My master's is aerospace. But civil engineering is pretty broad, right? So, like, I had internships in transportation, roads. I worked for a government agency, a Department of Transportation, doing like roadway stuff. It's not the most exciting job because roads are roads, right? But someone's got to make them. Everyone drives on them, right? A little bit more complex stuff gets into the structural stuff like bridges, skyscrapers. What I do as a structural engineer at the Boeing company, right? Like the actual frame of the airplane has to carry passengers, has to carry fuel, has to carry all those loads, right? There's also like the environmental side of civil engineering, where like when you do a project, a big project, you need to understand like there's water that might get underground that we might pollute on accident. We need to have prevention plans to ensure that we don't pollute when we're doing construction, when we're doing whatever a certain project. If something bad were to happen and there was an oil spill, right? Environmental engineers have designed different technologies to help clean up oil, or in a water spill, for example, or like an oil rig drills too far, right? Environmental engineers can help with that. So there's a lot of like civil engineers that also like specifically like study like soil, and the mechanical properties of soil, how you build buildings on top of soil, how soil interacts with other chemicals in the environment, things like that. It's a really interesting thing. But even when I think about like an airplane, I work with mechanical engineers who help like with the actual retraction of the flaps, right, and the actual way that the wings, the movable surfaces change and move, right, during all the flight patterns. Mechanical engineers helped design that, right? Structural engineers like myself helped design the actual structure. Chemical engineers designed the fuel that's inside of the fuel tank, right? Chemical engineers designed the paint that we utilize to prevent it from not rusting. Material science engineers are involved with all the different metals and titanium and things like that to be optimized to carry and go through the environmental rigors of an airplane flying through 30,000 feet in the air at different temperatures, landing. So like, and then there's software engineers involved with all the in-flight deck data being consumed by all the different sensors along the airplane that were designed by electrical engineers to do all that information, right? Just one product, an airplane, brings in thousands of different types of engineers, and then just non-engineering type people, right, to help make that product. So in the end, like what I said, engineers help solve problems, and there's different types of problems all out there in the world. And when you go into the working world, you're gonna you might have majored in something, but you're gonna interface with other types of engineers, and you got to know a little bit about all of them too, right? So at the end of the day, you're trying to make something that someone's gonna either buy or consume, or going to improve their life, right? Like roads, that's improving your life. You don't want to like ruin your car on a really bumpy road. An airplane, you want to go meet your family, whatever it may be, right? That's ultimately what engineers are doing, making the world easier on you, really. So good discussion there. Let's see what else we have here on. Let's see if we can bundle some of these questions. We have a lot of questions in the Q&A, so let me see if we can kind of combine some of the common ones here. Let's talk a little bit about socializing, because it looks like some people have questions about like hobbies outside of school, how important social life is, separating your personal life from your school life. Let's talk a little bit about that part of college. We've talked a lot about engineering. We haven't really got to the social aspect of it all. How important is the socializing of it? I know some of you might have experienced college through some COVID times, and maybe you're coming out of it. But what are some other things that you do outside of college? I'm sure you don't just study. Just talk a little bit more about the social aspect of college. We'll let Dulce go first.
Well, I'd say, there is going to be a balance for me at least. I do need my breaks from college. You know, college is fun and great, but sometimes it does get a little bit too much with all the homeworks and midterms. I have my hobby. I like lifting weights for fun. So that, you know, sometimes like for right now, midterms, it's kind of tough to do your hobbies, you know, like you would like to. However, you can still like have some time for it. I at least get 2 hours from it. You know, I'm like, all right, you know, you do all you can for your work, whatever you have to do. And then you're like, all right, if you focus so much on that, you can make some time for that. Socializing, I feel like SHPE has really helped me a lot with the socializing part, you know, made me feel welcome with a lot of classmates. Also, you know, in your own classroom, like I mentioned before, when you communicate, you know, my peers right now mentioned, you know, study groups and whatsoever. Sometimes those study groups become really great friends, actually. And from there, you know, you do a lot of socializing in there, but at the same time, you kind of do like college work. There are times where you kind of burn out, you all burn out, and, you know, it all becomes like a little socializing group at times. But there's going to be a lot of socializing in college. You know, it's not everything's going to be just work. You do have to network a lot, you know, even though, you know, you are making friends, you are making also networks around.
Oliver, anything you want to add about the social aspects, how you socialize, how you de-stress from the college life?
Yeah, I would just say that when you're in college, it's different from high school. You have more time to do whatever you want because classes are usually an hour and a half, 2 classes a day, like 3 hours, maybe 4. There's a lot of time to do a lot of free stuff, which is like managing time is very important. But for me, like to relieve stress as well, I like to play basketball, intramural sports. They help once a week. And you could always find something. Like if there's something that you were not able to do in high school, that's gonna be in college there. You could find different cliques. I like to dance, you know, play frisbee. So if one of my cliques is doing something and I'm free, I'm like, I go over there. But also, I think they ask, how do you manage your personal life and your college?
Yeah.
I would say like, you know, personal life, I don't know. I'm very open. I embrace my culture. I'm very proud being a Latino. And organization like SHPE, I mean, we have like piñata times, like we hit them up and, you know, relieve stress that way. Christmas events and other things that help us. But just don't forget that, you know, college is what you make of it. You know, you could be studying all day, which is pretty cool. It's important. But, you know, you want to make those memories happen. And I had some pretty cool ones with my friends. So, yeah.
Jasmine, what about you?
Yeah, I would like to add a little bit, like pretty much what everyone has said. In college, you will like there's always something that you can like get better at. Like someone, there's always a club for everything. Like even you may not think that there's a club for like, let's say like anime, but like they have one here at school, and if they don't have one, you can always create one, or you can just like ask like, for example, here the chapter here at my school has like a Discord channel, and they have like different channels for like people that like music, people that like video games. Like you're within the org that you join, like there's always gonna be someone that has like the same interest as you. So that way, so that's like the way to like change like my social life. And then answering the question about how you manage to separate your personal life from your school life, I pretty much like at the start of the semester, once you like I have my schedule and of all the things like that I have to do like as in school wise, and also like organization meetings and stuff like that, I put them on like a big calendar. And then I also like set time for like certain things that I want to do. Like I set time for myself, and then I also set time for like to go home. I set like a weekend to go home like every like month or so. And like it's really all about, for me, it's really all about like knowing how to like when I have big assignments coming up, and that way I can like arrange when to go home, because it's like a 5-hour drive. But yeah, I would really just say like know what time management skill tool works best for you. For me, it's using a planner, but also using Google Calendar. Just because Google Calendar, I can have it on my phone or on my laptop all the time. And then for my planner, I just use it for like assignments and stuff like that. So just knowing what are the best tools for you to succeed, like in order to manage your separate to your personal life from your school life.
I'll add and plug SHPE as one of the top clubs to join or organizations to join, because it kind of bridges everything that you kind of want out of college life. It helps you academically because you find like people you can study with in your major. It helps you socially. Like our SHPE chapter, I went to University of Illinois. We had intramural basketball team, intramural soccer team. If you wanted to join that, we had a robotics team also. So like if you want to do like a robotics thing, like our own chapter had like little sub things that you could be doing, right? And we put on different social events, we put on professional events, we put on academic events, we did community service together. I have a lot of really good memories of my friends in SHPE doing all sorts of different things, right? And that's why we call it familia, because you really do spend, the question was like, how do you separate your personal life from your school life? Like my school life was my personal life. It's almost sounds unhealthy, but it was probably one of the healthiest things for me to do, to like fully immerse myself in the community, embrace my campus, embrace my organization, embrace the people I was around with, to help ease the difficult parts of school, right? Because it would be easy to just kind of turn it off and be like, hey, like time out, get away from school stuff. Let's go get pizza at Antonio's because I'm really feeling hungry. It's 2 a.m. It's the only place that's open. So, it was easy to have those to transit to kind of like balance everything, right? SHPE was like home base for me. So, it also, I think some other questions like how has SHPE helped you like professionally and academically and all sorts of things. It's helped me immensely, right? It's gave me internship opportunities, gave me lifelong friends. It gave me access to scholarships. We have a scholarship database if you want to apply to different scholarships. SHPE brings a lot of different resources, not just what you might think of professional development or anything like that. So that's my shameless plug for SHPE. Join SHPE if you can, and if you don't have a SHPE chapter, start it up. Let's see, we're trying to get through some of these questions. There's quite a lot of them, so let me try to filter through some of these. Let's see. Let's talk a little bit about scholarships and paying for school. What can you share about the scholarship process, about financial aid? I'll let Dulce go first.
Yeah, for sure. So I had a few scholarships when I was a chemical engineering. What I recommend, try to look into your major professors. Like I know, like I mentioned, like chemical engineering did not have a lot of chemistry, but I was able to be very close to my professors of chemistry. And they were able to tell me about these scholarships that they had going on for chemical related STEM field. So that's when I started to, look into the scholarships that they were offering. Yeah, I was able to get one from there, the ACS. From there, also, try to network between your friends, because that's how I found out about a scholarship they had going on in this high school right here around my neighborhood. However, since I didn't do my high school in here, I wasn't aware of it. But once I started talking about, with my friends, like, hey, you have certain types of scholarships, like, can I apply? Yeah, you can. So then I started investigating about it. I also did that. And for sure, FOSTA, that's going to be your main one. That's always going to be the top one. And then from there, just start looking around, and also SHPE offers some. You have to do your own research at times. And sometimes even Google has a little bit of scams for the scholarships, but try to see which ones are kind of reliable. And from there, do a lot of research every semester if you can.
Bolivar, anything you want to add about the financial aid process and scholarships?
Yeah, we actually had an event yesterday with a high school. I got on a lot of scholarships. I actually got a SHPE scholarship in 2019. And my advice would be like, first of all, fill out FAFSA. October 1st, if you're a junior, sophomore, freshman, mark it, because it's going to come up later on. If you haven't done it now, get it done. If you're filling out your FAFSA and your mom and dad, they don't have their social security, you could ask for help or how to fill it out. I think you could put zeros on it, but I'm not sure if that's okay. But it should be. That's what it tells us to do. Scholarships wise, contact your friends, network. Even if you're in high school now, network with upperclassmen, seniors, and be like, hey, you guys want scholarships? Cool. When do they open? When do they close? Mark your calendar within that range. And also, ask people, because they give you advice on how they did it. for me, like my recommendation letters like are really strong. My essays as well. I got on SHPE scholarships, and one of my favorite ones, GMIS, which is another one that's pretty close to me. But when you search for scholarships, search like your specific circumstances. If you're first generation, if you're Latino, if you're like a single parent, if you're like, I don't know, homeless, I don't know, it could happen. There's specific scenarios that could maybe have scholarships for your situation that could help you out, because unfortunately college is not free, and you know, they do help.
Right. Jasmine, anything you want to add?
Pretty much what everyone has said. Make sure you fill out your FAFSA as soon as possible, as soon as it opens. And also, I'm pretty sure, well, my college has like a website where it has like all the scholarships that the school offers. So also make sure to check if the school that you're applying to has something like that, and make sure you read like all the requirements, like and make sure that like Bolivar said, you highlight like specific things that make you like, I would say, like unique, or like, yeah, like if you're a first generation and stuff like that. But yeah, pretty much what everyone has said.
Some questions around DACA students. I'm not sure if you have to talk about it or anything like that, and how they can pay for school. I will speak on a lot of scholarships don't have any sort of residency or citizenship requirements. Some might, but that is something you just need to keep an eye on. Locally here at my SHPE professional chapter, I'm the president of SHPE Puget Sound, which is based out of Seattle. We have a scholarship program, and we don't ask status. So we have given out scholarships to DACA students at the local level here at the University of Washington. So just look out for, like, I'm pretty sure other SHPE organizations have, like, you know, professional chapters. Maybe there's one in Houston, maybe in Phoenix or Chicago. I'm pretty sure they might have a scholarship program. And if they don't, check the national one. They have, I'm pretty sure they have DACA eligible scholarships, and a lot of universities do too, actually. So it's all about doing that research up front and kind of making sure that you cross your T's and dot your I's. Let's see here. We're running up close to the end, but I think we still have a few questions that we haven't quite gotten to. Something that kind of came up in my head while we were discussing something that kind of see through the questions of like, how far do you live from your home for college? Like, how far away did you go for college? How did you choose your college? And like, what were the things that led you to make that decision? And how many schools did you apply for example? Did you apply to like 10? How did you help pare that down to the final solution? So I will let Bolivar go first. Just kind of walk us through your process, why you ended up where you are, how far you are from home. Does that make it difficult or anything like that?
Yeah, so I have a funny story. When I was in high school, I didn't get that many scholarships, to be honest. I didn't get any, probably like one from my high school alumni club. But the first major I wanted to do when I graduated high school was music. I wanted to go to Purdue A&M, and I actually was there for a little while, but it wasn't for me, and I wasn't doing it for me. I was doing it for my band director in high school. You know, I like marching band, but you know, mechanical engineering was always what I wanted to do. So I switched to U of H, the University of Houston. You could always apply for scholarships. I've been getting scholarships throughout my college career or journey. And you know, I live 3 miles away, so like 45-minute bike, so not that far. But yeah, I chose U of H because I'll be honest, the biggest barrier for your college journey is I believe classes are manageable, but like the way to pay. So that's why you have to fill out scholarships and financial aid. Because I think when we were doing the workshop yesterday, like out of a lot of students that go, most of them can't finish because of financial reasons. So that's why if you need money, you could apply for SHPE scholarships. I think they open up in January. So they'll be able to help you get through it. And that's why I chose U of H, because it's close by. Housing, I don't have to pay for that. And, it's the truth.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Dulce?
So basically, like I mentioned before, I didn't finish my high school in here. So it was very tough for me. I applied to U of H initially. I wanted U of H because it was kind of close to my house. I lived 30 minutes away. I didn't have to pay any rent. I could stay with my parents whatsoever. So I could save that aspect of money. However, when I came in, U of H was not accepting me because they wanted a perfect score from my ACT, since I did my high school in Mexico. So that didn't stop me though. What I did, the one that was able to accept me was a community college, and I kind of discovered that community college is not bad at all. You save a lot of money, you do all your basics, you do all your essentials, and yeah, I really focus on those classrooms. It was like 20 students or less. I did my basics in HCC. I really enjoyed HCC. It was not that far from my house. I chose HCC because it was the closest one, because I know they also had San Jacinto. They have like different community colleges around my area. From there, I finished my basics, and I was always in contact with my advisor. That was, I think I even annoyed her after a while, because she even tried to kick me out after a while. She's like, hey, it's your time to go from HCC. You got to start applying to your major. So I was like, okay, I didn't really want to leave HCC, right? I felt so comfortable in that school. But once I started applying, for my actual major, I applied to 3 universities. However, University of Houston was one of my top ones because I wanted to come back. I'm like, you know what, you're gonna accept me, which they did, and I'm really glad for it. However, I did apply for other 2. I didn't meet the requirements, and University of Houston was pretty much my top choice and the ones that accepted me from my choices. And yeah, I'm here, and this is my 2nd year in here.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Jasmine?
Yeah, so when I was a senior in college, in high school, I applied for around 10 schools. Actually, I applied for all the schools in Texas just because I wanted to have options and see which one would give me honestly the most financial aid that would cover it, because I know my parents would not be able to help me pay for classes. So after that, I also took into account like if I like the college campus or not. Like I just went on like 3 different campuses, and I ended up liking the University of North Texas. And that also because UNT was the one that gave me the most financial aid, and also it gave me an academic scholarship. So I really took into account the financial aid aspect of it. So that's what helped me choose my college, basically, because I had like I said, I kind of wanted to have like different options to see which one was gonna be better for me and who offered me more scholarships and how we'll be able to pay for it. I am 5 hours away from home. That's like the one bad part about it, but it's been like a learning experience while I'm here by myself. Like it helped me like get out of my comfort zone and go out of my way to like make friends, and I had like time to be involved and stuff like that. So that's like the only bad part about it. The only bad thing about it is like it's 5 hours away from my family and all that, but it did give me the most financial aid, and I didn't really have to take a lot of loans.
Awesome. I went to the University of Illinois for my undergrad. I grew up outside of Chicago, so my Evans Township folks. I grew up just north of y'all in near Six Flags, if you know where that's at. I applied to Purdue University, which is in Indiana. I applied to the University of Wisconsin in Madison, which is where Jay Flotis went, where you got to see his thing in the first session. And I applied to Michigan, University of Michigan. So all like close to Chicago. I wanted to not be near my parents. So I wanted to leave. So I chose the University of Illinois for how good it was for engineering program, one of the top engineering schools, at like the perfect distance away from my parents, like 3-hour drive. It gave me pretty good financial aid. It was in-state school tuition. And best decision of my life, right? Like that set me up for being comfortable being away from my family, right? I moved to Seattle after college, so it's not a 4-hour drive; it's a 4-hour flight now. But it still gave me like that stepping stone of how to manage getting away from or being away from my parents, and emotionally how that all worked out, right? It is an emotional process, right? Because at least if you're close with your family, stepping away and being away, and while also managing all the stress of school, it can definitely be difficult to manage. So I would definitely recommend you all, go into campuses, visiting campuses, and really evaluating what's important to you. Is it the major? Is it proximity to home? Is it the cost? Really write those lists down and make that pros cons. And ultimately, you'll feel at home when you visit, right? Like, this is where I need to be. You'll feel it. So 5 minutes. I think we touched upon just about all the questions here. Before we go, just any last words or word that you want to leave the audience with, and then make sure we let everyone know that there's an hour break after this. So we will be. Let me check my schedule here. We will be back at 1 p.m. Eastern for the NSA workshop. So we will have a break from 12 to 1. Anyway, thank you to all the panelists. One last word or one last thing from you all. We'll let Dulce go first.
Okay. Don't let being a first generation discourage you from going to college. It's not going to be easy, but if it was easy, everybody would have done it. Just keep on doing, follow your dreams in a way, even if you're iffy about your major, you can always switch majors. Don't feel like you're doing it your whole life. That's puts a lot of pressure onto you to choosing what you really want. Choose what you want at the moment and just go for it.
Jasmine, any last words or word?
Basically kind of what Dulce said, make sure you have like certain goals in mind, and that you have the motivation, surround yourself with a good support group. Like SHPE is a really good support group. They someone shares the same struggles that you have. So make sure you find that support group when you go to college.
Bolivar.
I would say for me, if I were to give one word to you guys, this would be dream. Don't stop dreaming. If you have a goal or somewhere you want to be, you could get there. You could join an organization like SHPE. I know we're super saying it, but SHPE has helped me a lot. I have met a lot of people in different universities too that have helped me get where I am today. Don't get discouraged, because there's gonna be people that are non-believers in you. I don't know if I could share this story, but I went to a mock interview my freshman year of university, and that person told me I wanted to hit up big companies. I wanted to do aerospace, and then he told me that's not realistic. They don't see your vision. Your reality is not theirs; it's yours. You can make it happen. I've done internship with big companies, and it's if you want it, it'll happen. So if there's a will, there's a way. Just don't stop dreaming.
Awesome. Yeah, just don't be afraid to ask for help. There are many people who have done it, who are willing to reach back and give a hand when asked. We just don't know if you need the help, right? We put ourselves out there to help you, but we're here to help. So feel free to find me on LinkedIn or anything like that. If you have any more questions, email us, post event, get involved, find local SHPE chapters, and good luck out there. We'll see you in an hour after your lunch break. Thank you all.